Hello, I'm Dr. David Hornbrook, the Clinical Director of Education and Technology here at Keating Dental Arts. I'd like to personally welcome you to the Greater New York Dental Meeting. You know, I've lectured and been to almost every dental meeting in the world, and I'll tell you, I think the Greater New York is the very best, and you're going to have a great time. Peruse the booth and look at the very cool things Keating has to offer. As a clinical director, one of my primary roles at Keating Dental Arts is to be the conduit between the clinician and the technician. Lots of times clinicians are frustrated or struggling with a case. They can give me a call. In fact, here's a case I just got off the phone with a doctor that was concerned about a material and prep design. So I make that call, we get through the potential problems or frustrations, and we make sure the case can be the very best that it can be. So it could be the doctor or it could be a technician that pulls me aside and says, Dr. Hornbrook, can you look at this and make sure it's designed properly to yield the best results, not only aesthetically, but functionally. Here at Keating Dental Arts, we have a beautiful operatory. In fact, we have state-of-the-art equipment and technology. We do over-the-shoulder courses. We have a study club. We do product reviews. If you're ever in the Southern California area, I would urge you to give us a call and visit. We're only about 5 miles from Disneyland, 5 miles from Newport Beach. Keating Dental Arts is a full-service dental lab. Very technology-heavy. We're doing some incredible things. So have a great time in New York, and I hope our paths cross in the very near future. Hello, I'm Dr. David Hornbrook, the Clinical Director of Education and Technology here at Keating Dental Arts in Irvine, California. Keating is a full-service lab, and we're very excited about all the very cool things we're doing here at Keating Dental Arts. Today I want to talk to you about the fastest growing restoration in indirect dentistry, and that's the zirconia oxide crown. Now here at Keating Dental Arts, we offer basically 3 products in this category of zirconia. The first one is what we call the KDZ Bruxer. And this is a monolithic crown that typically we would use in the posterior in molars. Now, the interesting thing about the KDZ Bruxer, it's the strongest restoration we have. The flexural strength, and that's basically represents the durability of the ceramic, the flexural strength of the Bruxer is about 1200 megapascals. Now, to give you a reference what that means, it is comparing it to a PFM. The porcelain on every PFM you've ever done or will ever do, it has a flexural strength of 100 megapascals. So theoretically, durability and the strength of a KDZ Bruxer is 10 to 12 times stronger than that of a PFM, especially in areas that undergo stress. That would be marginal ridges, functional cusp, central fossa, 10 to 12 times stronger. Now the KDZ Bruxer, typically we only use it for second or first molars primarily because it's a little bit opaque. I probably would not use it in the anterior. There's better materials that I'll talk about, but it is the strongest. So when we're looking at second molars, where it's closer to the hinge axis, more stress, the KDZ Bruxer is excellent for that. And you can cement it with anything you want. You could temporarily cement it, you can bond it into place on short preps, you could use a resin ionomer, you could use a glass ionomer, I mean, whatever you prefer. Because of the strength, we can cement it with anything. That's the KDZ Bruxer. So molars, both mandibular and maxillary molars, or as a framework for a multi-unit bridge in the posterior. We can actually do full span 14-unit bridges if we wanted to out of this material. But 4 or 5-unit bridges in the posterior, excellent for this material because it's tooth colored and it's strong. And the fit is excellent because it utilizes CAD/CAM throughout the entire process. So that's the KDZ Bruxer. The second material in this category of zirconia is what we call the KDZ Bruxer aesthetic. Now, this is a relatively new material in dentistry. It has the strength of zirconia, but the aesthetics that we see with lithium disilicate or even the glass reinforced ceramics. Now, the aesthetic, again, typically we would do single crowns, but not only posterior like we saw with the Bruxer, because the translucency, a generic term for this would be HT zirconia or high translucency. The aesthetics rival that of most of our other ceramic systems. So we could use it for an anterior crown. We can use it for a 3-unit anterior bridge. I use this a lot for single crowns because the flexural strength, as I mentioned before, where a PFM, the porcelain has a flexural strength of 100. This material has a flexural strength of 650 megapascal. So you see, we're 5 to 6 times stronger than that of a porcelain fused to metal crown. Again, areas that are undergoing stress, that would be marginal ridges, central fossa, functional cusp. Also, this is almost twice the strength that we see with lithium disilicate, which has become kind of a mainstay for single crowns on the posterior. We have a material that rivals its aesthetic value, yet is significantly stronger. And this all is fabricated under CAD/CAM, so the accuracy is very good. Cost is unbelievably low compared to some of our lithium disilicate systems. Excellent system. Single crowns, we're not going to do any bridges with this except in the anterior, 3 units. Or we can do anterior crowns. I wouldn't do veneers with this material just because the bondability is not as high as we see with some of our other ceramics. The third product is what we call the KDZ Ultra. Now, this material still utilizes zirconium oxide, but only as a framework. So we could have, just like a PFM, we could have a coping, but instead of being metal, it would be zirconia, relatively translucent at this thinness, and then we overlay with beautiful ceramic. So this is the Ultra. The advantage of this, we're going to get aesthetics that have the depth that we see with some of our beautiful restorations that are layered in multiple layers. Where do I like to use this? In the anterior, multiple unit bridges. As I mentioned earlier, the KDZ Bruxer aesthetic can only be used with a 3-unit bridge. If I was going to do a bridge, let's say from K9 to K9, 6 units, I would use KDZ Ultra. The zirconium becomes the framework because the flexural strength of this framework in the Ultra is approximately 1200 megapascals. You will not break that. The thinness makes it relatively translucent, certainly not the ugly metal that we see with the PFM. And we can overlay with all this cool material. Again, this can be a 10-unit bridge if we needed to. I've done lots of 6 and 7-unit bridges utilizing KDZ Ultra. The other cool thing about KDZ Ultra is you can design the framework, or we can at the dental lab because of CAD/CAM technology, pretty much any way you want. Let's say we have a mandibular premolar. That's part of the aesthetic. Could be a maxillary premolar, part of the aesthetic zone. We would like something to be aesthetic as possible and as strong as possible. Or maybe this premolar is an abutment of a 4-unit bridge. So we have to use a relatively opaque zirconia. We want optimal aesthetics. This is the facial or the buccal. We want optimal aesthetics, but we need maximum strength for the connector or certainly the central fossa, any functional cusp. What we can do is we can actually, and this is again done through CAD/CAM, we would design this restoration so that this would be our Bruxer material, strongest material we have, 1200. And then we overlay with this beautiful, and we use Noritake, which I think is the most beautiful ceramic to overlay any zirconia. In the aesthetic area, or the aesthetic zone, this becomes this beautiful layered ceramic. So we get the advantage of beautiful aesthetics that would certainly rival our lithium disilicate or our glass lucite reinforced ceramic, and we get the strength of zirconia. So hopefully that certainly answers some of the questions you may have, or certainly eliminate some of your confusion with some of our zirconia materials. If you're ever in the Southern California area, Keating Dental Arts is in Irvine, California, about 5 miles from Disneyland, 5 miles from Newport Beach. We'd love to have you stop by. Hello, I'm Dr. David Hornbright, the Clinical Director of Education at Keating Dental Arts in Irvine, California. Today I'm with Jim Kane. Hey Jim, he's the manager of our removable department here at Keating. Now Jim, you're doing a bunch of cool things, because I'm up there all the time, exploring and meeting with the technicians. You're doing a lot of cool things up there, but really what I want to do now is talk a little bit about the dentures. And I know that at Keating we have basically 3 categories of dentures, and we start with the KDA denture, which, why don't you go ahead and elaborate on that?
KDA dentures are our economy denture. We use a simple plastic tooth, an economy base, a pore type acrylic. It's great for immediate situations and things like that. Okay.
Now, what does that include? So do you get bite blocks, wax rims?
Bite block, first setup, your finish, of course. If you needed a custom tray, that would be extra, but everything else is included in that.
Okay. Okay. And I've seen those. They're economy, but they're not cheap.
No.
Cheap as far as quality.
It's a good quality too. Yeah.
Absolutely is. Again, we're using Ivoclar acrylic and good teeth,
Yes.
and as long as the prescription's done right by the doctor and they fit great.
Absolutely.
They're a great working alternative to some of the more expensive dentures. So let's move forward and let's talk about our KDA Ultra denture.
Our Ultra denture is our top of the line. It uses Phonaris brand of teeth from Ivoclar. We use the Ivocap denture system to process that denture base.
Now, what is exactly Ivocap? What is that? How's that different from in dental school we're flasking this stuff? I mean, how's that different?
It's along the same lines, but it is cured under heat and pressure. Okay. So as the denture cures, new material is constantly being pushed in behind it.
Okay.
And the denture base is very, very strong, very color stable. It's an excellent denture. The finish and the fit are outstanding.
Okay, and then the teeth we utilize for that are
the Phonaris brand.
Okay, which is Ivoclar, which is
it's a composite tooth.
Absolutely excellent, beautiful tooth.
Absolutely.
As well as durable.
Yeah.
So that includes the bite blocks and wax. It's kind of a kit. All these different dentures.
It's all inclusive. Your bite block, your try-in, a setup, of course, and then the finish.
Okay, so that's the Ultra. We have the KDA economy or basic denture, and then we have one in the middle, and that's the premium
That's
denture.
Our premium denture. That uses the Ivocap denture finish as well. We use the Ivoclar blue line of teeth for that.
Okay.
It is probably our most popular denture right now. The fit, the finish, again, that strong Ivocap base, and then the good blue line teeth.
Okay, so the steps along the way from what we get from the doctor and the pour up of the models to the mounting to up to the point it's actually finished is pretty much the same. The difference is both the premium and the Ultra is the Ivocap system, which is phenomenal, and then basically the teeth.
Yeah.
And the quality of the teeth.
The quality of the teeth.
Are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're all good quality teeth. The economy tooth as well. So
great. Okay, great. Well, thanks for spending the time with us. I appreciate it. Hopefully, you'll give Keating Dental Arts a try next year denture case.
Here at Keating Dental Arts, we also have our custom design abutments, whether it be from our Atlantis or our Nobel. We also design them here with the Strawman, and we send them out to Noble Biotech for the 3i encode and or our abutments. We can utilize all these different scanners for, depending on what the clinician would like to use. The Atlantis abutments, we actually scan design the fixture here, we put the flows on, and we send them out to Atlantis, to the file to Atlantis to have the abutment fabricated. We have to approve every single design before it is milled out. So we have a great designer here, Bernie Rico. He will design them, he will alter them, modify them slightly. We sometimes get together and we overview some of these cases. And then we do some slight adjustments into the abutment so we get the end result is exactly what we're looking for. So That's one thing we can use with the Art Atlantis abutment. And Atlantis, of course, has almost every single fixture out there. We also can do the zirconium abutments for Atlantis and the gold hue abutments for Atlantis when you want to have the all ceramic restoration, and you have the gold collar, which has a nice show through and a nice tissue contour and color coming through. You can't go wrong with the Nobel, Atlantis, or our Straumann, which we utilize all different systems. With the Straumann, we can design them here similar to the Atlantis. We can approve the design and they send them. We also can use the 3i and of course the encode, where you just take the impression of the 3i encode, send us the impression of the scan body or the mapping collar, and we send it to them. They place the analog and send an abutment to us. There's a lot of companies that aren't well known, but we absolutely will take care of you. If you send us a case and I don't recognize it as a common brand, I'll make a phone call. We'll look it up, get on the internet, I'll make a call to a local rep or a rep that you've been working with, and we'll find out what it is. Like I said, there's so many systems coming out and we have to stay on top of it. And I think it's the communication that we have with a practicing clinician and the expectations of the patient, and then we can come together and have a good restoration with a great end result.